K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Willie Mack will be on here in just a few seconds.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am Ace, and tonight you're watching another episode of Tuesday Night Mania. I don't know. I almost said Tuesday because that's what I meant. I don't know why I said it, but Tuesday Night Mania, anyways. Welcome in our first viewer tonight, Cody. So Cody says, "Gentlemen, how's it going?" Cody, we hope you're having a fantastic night. Welcome in my first co-host, which is none other than Big B. Big B, how you doing tonight, my man?
Hey, I'm doing good. Just wrapped up a show on deck that you guys can watch out. Our interview with former MLB pitcher Josh Rodnick. I know he pronounced his name. I still can't pronounce it, but check that out. Ready to talk some wrestling, WrestleMania weekend. So can't wait to hear what our predictions are.
Definitely can't wait for it. I'm very, very excited for it. All right, Joe, how are you doing tonight, my man?
You know what, guys? I'm doing good. I don't do like holidays a whole lot, but man, this is like my holiday. I love WrestleMania season. Good or bad with it, but it is WrestleMania week. I usually take off for it, so I got a free weekend to watch pro wrestling this weekend, so I am going to enjoy it.
With that being said, though, too, I want everybody, all of our viewers, to realize that Saturday and Sunday we're going to be basically doing almost like a play-by-play. So we'll be coming on here, we'll be talking as WrestleMania is going on. People be in and out. It's going to be a great time on Saturday, great time on Sunday. So if you want to join and watch, absolutely, we'll be on for a long time. It's going to be going on for hours. So
can one of us play JR when Mankind gets thrown off the cage? And
oh my God, he broke him in half. He broke him in half.
It's going to be a slobber knocker.
Oh my God, he killed him. He killed him. All right, well, let's go ahead and start out here. So, Joe, why don't you go ahead and give us the rundown of AEW and how that's been going?
Well, it's been going. We finally seen a new women's champion coming out of the week before with Thunder Rosa finally winning it in her hometown, which I think was kind of predictable for the build on that. Hardy Boys, they look good. They look really, really good. Hats off to Sting, man. I love Sting. I've always loved Sting. Him at his age, still doing the things that he's doing. Phenomenal. I'm intrigued because a lot of rumors were like when MJF took Wardlow off of TV, all these rumors started popping that he was done with AEW, and they forget that there's a storyline behind that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that storyline is going to be pretty good because I think Wardlow, man, he's got all the tools right now to do good things. I think he's going to be a TNT champion within, I say, 6 months, possibly in that world title contender within a year and a half. Overall, though, AEW was pretty decent. It wasn't anything really highly to speak of, but they're trying and they're still trucking along, so that's good for them.
All right, absolutely. And welcome in, Mr. William Hudson. How you doing tonight, my man?
Hey, yo, everybody. How's everything going? Sorry I was a little late. I literally just finished a live sale. It was a huge sale. Super busy, so glad to be here, guys. And I heard your points about AEW, but I can tell you what I think is really an awesome thing going on right now, and that's over in Impact. I think the ending of Impact was much better than anything AEW did. When you saw Mickie James in the World Women's Title match, and then Chelsea comes out, and then all of a sudden you had Matt Cardona come out and clothesline Mickie James to the mat. I thought that was incredible. Great storytelling. And then you had Chelsea turn heel on Mickie. So incredible storytelling. Just want to make sure I made a point about that. I thought that segment alone from Impact was better than anything AEW has done in several weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna say though, is it just me or Will? Do you agree with me that as of late, and people can disagree or whatever, but as of late, Impact has been doing some good things.
Yeah,
They have
absolutely.
been some fantastic storylines. They have some great rivalries going, and I feel like Impact's gonna only get better and better. I really do.
I agree 100%. And not just because you're the boss, but I'll tell you, I turned on Impact and I literally sat there and watched it. And I can't tell you the last time I sat down and watched a Raw or watched a SmackDown and actually watched them. I mean, you know, we've gotten spoiled in today's society where we have DVRs and we have fast forwards on our remotes and everything else. And,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing better in the world than watching Raw and seeing a match you don't want to see and fast forwarding through it and, getting to the next segment. So, but I literally could sit down and watch Impact. And I thought, man, I've really been missing out because, I've seen Impact, but I don't know that I've honestly ever really, really watched Impact. And, there's a huge difference in seeing something and watching something. And it caught my attention. It was interesting. I'll tell you, some of these guys that have been released by WWE when they were in the big boys league with WWE, I couldn't stand Zack Ryder. I mean, when he would come on, I was like, oh my god, But Matt Cardona, I mean, I'm impressed with the guy. I'm really impressed. Heath Slater, I mean, the 3-man band, the 1-man band, whatever he ended up being, that dude, he was awful in WWE. But then you get over to what he's doing now. I could definitely see him being a world champion in Impact. I could see him going to AEW, and if they would get their act together. I heard a comment the other day too, and I'm sorry that I've run on this, but I want to make another point on this. I heard a comment the other day that, and you guys can tell me the source of it. I can't remember that AEW doesn't have writers, that they just kind of put together storylines and they put together things that are going on. And man, I tell you what, I understand bad booking and bad writing, but if you don't have writers, it's no wonder your product is so stale and your attendance record keeps going down, down, down. You've done the same exact thing that WCW in 95, late in 96 did, and you bought all this talent and you built up these humongous rosters. And now you got guys, according to Arn Anderson, I read this today, according to Arn Anderson, that don't even show up for TV because they don't have a spot. Now you've got all this money invested in these folks, and you've got these huge talents, these huge names that don't even show up for a spot. And I'll make one more point too. I want to really get this across. I love Sting. Everybody loves Sting. Sting will always be up there in the top tiers. I don't know if he's top 3 or top 5 or top 25, whatever, but he's going to be on every fan's top list somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But with all the talent you have right now, and I mean you have talent. I mean tremendous talent. You have more talent now than they had during the Attitude Era, and I would challenge anybody to argue that point. But you have more talent now than anybody in the Attitude Era. Why in the hell do you have Sting jumping off of rafters onto tables and everything else? It makes no sense to me. The man is 62 years old, jumping off of rafters and jumping off of, the tops of concession stands on stuff when you have Jeff Hardy, who very easily could go out there and be a world champion. Put Jeff Hardy in a match with Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, whatever he calls himself this week, the Red Dragon, the Dragon, whoever. Put him out there against Jeff Hardy and let them write the match for themselves and watch what happens. I'm telling you, I love the Stinger. I think he's great. Put the Stinger on a commentary booth or put Stinger in a manager's role. All he's doing right now, and Joe, you can tell me if I'm wrong and I'll shut up, but all he's doing right now is he is killing the Sting legacy. I'll be quiet now, Ace. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good on that. The one point I was going to bring up though about Impact is I was curious, so I went and I looked this up, and the top person in Impact that gets paid is Josh Alexander, and Josh Alexander makes
Well deserved.
he makes $150,000 a year. most of the Impact guys make roughly around $50 to $60 to $70,000 a year. So just think, some of us are making more than what they're doing in Impact, but they're still managing to put on a decent show. So that's
And
kind
this
of
is the same guy. Tony Khan is the same guy that's going to produce an ROH show this weekend too. You know, now he's got more talent that he needs to deal with because he has now another show and he doesn't even know what he's going. He said, I don't know when I'm going to put them on TV or how I'm going to do it yet. But this guy is the same guy that's calling all the shots in AEW right now. And Will, you're right. Matt Hardy is the one that said he convinced Jeff to come to AEW, and he says we don't have writers. So that was on his podcast where he mentioned that one up.
I knew I had seen it somewhere, and I knew I had heard that, but I could not remember where it was. But again, you know, I understand not having, you know, bad bookers. I understand not having bad writers, but I mean, let's be honest. This is an entertainment television show. You're going to have some writing at some point, and you can't just show up for the backstage meeting and say, well, so-and-so is going over so-and-so, and so-and-so is going over so-and-so, because guess who did that? WCW.
Yep.
And
They
guess who
got a surprise this week too, coming up in the Owen Hart tournament, which kicks off this week, which I'm excited for because I'm a big Owen Hart mark. But the women tournament starts this week, and the Bunny is facing a new signee this week to AEW, who they haven't announced yet.
Nia Jax.
But I'm worried about that because the Owen Hart legacy. Hopefully they do it right.
Which I was going to say, that was actually a question from Cody, to where he's saying, any ideas on who you think the mystery woman is on Wednesday?
Either that or Tony Storm.
Tony Storm was who I was going to go with, but Nia Jax kind of makes sense.
I think it's Nia. I think she made too big of a point out of, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to go leave this professional wrestling world and get a new job and blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden she's signed up to do a wrestling signing, a convention this weekend, and she's signing autographs and stuff. And I think the idea behind that is to get her back in the public, and then all of a sudden have her debut. I could be totally wrong, man. You know, I mean,
they were also talking about Deonna Purrazzo because now they have a interim Ring of Honor Women's Champion match on their super card because she's booked for Impact. How the heck do you not know that your champion is booked somewhere else?
Yeah, but I don't think she's going to be the surprise. I think it's going to have to be a shocker. The problem is, you know, wrestling fans are totally spoiled sometimes. And, you know, we get these shockers and we're like, oh, my God, so-and-so showed up. This is the greatest thing ever. This fun will never end. And then 2 weeks later, they're like, oh, my God, this person again. You know, so
and the problem is all these new signees that they
point,
get, they stick them on Rampage. I mean, look, Keith Lee's on Rampage.
Swerve's
on Rampage.
All this, in my opinion, and again, you tell me, you know me, we talk about this stuff all the time, but all this, in my opinion, is just drumming up to a new Monday night show. They're trying to get everything in place to come up with a new Monday night show so they can come up with the idea of a new type of Monday Night War to drive that, you know, enthusiasm and drive that, you know, oh my God, it's Monday night. What's going to happen on wrestling tonight? You know, and I think that's the entire plan, is to do that. I don't think anybody's planning on putting AEW out or anybody's planning on putting WWE out, but I think they're thinking the audience is already built. And you and I had this conversation about something else not long ago. If you think about it, the audience is already built on Mondays. So people are going to try to do what they can to pull that audience on Monday. So that's just kind of my thoughts on that. And back to wrestling fans being spoiled. Big B, hell of a good point. CM Punk, everybody was so excited. You know, the guy's gone, you know, 9-10 years, whatever it was, 8 years, 7 years. But you know, he comes back and it's super exciting and it's the greatest thing ever. And he's not even world champion. And now he's not even the big splash in the pond.
Nope.
So that's a shame. And, you know, when you watch AEW, the face of AEW is Britt Baker. And when you watch AEW, the match you want to see is the match that Britt Baker is involved in. You know, she's the best thing they got going over there. They really dropped the ball with Darby. They really dropped the ball with Sammy, and some of those guys. Because I tell you what, man, I'd be booking me a Darby and a Jeff Hardy match. I'd be booking me a Daniel Bryan and Jeff Hardy match, and some of these other ones. So again, I'll be quiet. Ace, go ahead. I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good. You know, we're just sitting here talking about AEW.
I'm trying to bring.
No, we're not talking. Will's talking. We're all just listening.
I'm trying to bring the long-term experience on this, and guys, I just see it. Joe sees it. You guys see it. Big B, you were there. Ace, you were there. You guys see it too, man. This is exactly how WCW played out, and
absolutely,
then it's all a build-up at some point, at some level, to get a Monday night head-to-head type show, because they already did the Friday night deal, you know, and that didn't work out. You know, which is weird because if you watch
the Wednesday would have been
nice. It just
NXT.
sucks because we know how this all played out. WCW started off really, really hot.
Yeah.
And then Vince bought him. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen to AEW. I think AEW will have a better chance on Mondays to go against Raw compared to when Impact tried it.
Right. But, and can I make another point too? I think the return of Stardust at WrestleMania is the only way you could possibly bring Cody out.
No.
And it be anything decent in WWE. Even if you did it as a gimmick and had him come out and like rip off the Stardust gloves and the outfit and then, you know, turn into the Nightmare Cody Rhodes or whatever. Cody Rhodes in WWE was like the opening match on like before the pay-per-view started.
Yeah.
You know? And somebody said the other day,
him now, he's getting paid.
Somebody said the other day, though, oh yeah, Cody, he can go anywhere and he can be a top star, blah blah. Man, I don't know. I don't see it. I think he made a horrible mistake, going to WWE. He should have stayed right where he was and did the behind the scenes thing. That guy had it made. He had a TV show going with him and his wife. I mean, he was getting paid. He's still getting paid. I know he's getting paid by WWE, but I don't think that was a good idea at all. And you know, people are like, man, can you believe Cody Rhodes is going to WWE? I'm like, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. You know, I mean, I don't even watch the dark matches, you know.
No, and but we don't even know the whole backstory to that thing, too. I know there was a lot of tension going on, or what was said to be tension. But Cody, he's taking a high road. He hasn't said anything. Maybe he will down the road. Maybe Tony Khan will down the road, say what really happened. But yeah, only thing that worked out for Cody is now he's getting paid. I mean, like $3 million a year compared to what he was there before. But I agree. I don't think he's going to rise above. He's going to get that pop because they're going to play the American Nightmare song, which he got the rights to. He got the rights to his whole entire character, which is cool.
Right.
But, you know, at this point, I think we all know that it's going to be Cody.
Right.
Unless WWE, and I seen somebody put a meme out there today and said, this is Seth Rollins' opponent. This is what we're getting, Cody. But in reality, this is what we're getting, Rollins versus Elias.
Right. I saw that.
And I'm like, oh my God. Well, that's that. Why would WWE can do stupid stuff like that. And then somebody else said their new signee, Gable Stevens. But you're not going to put him on the main stage being green in the wrestling business, because no matter how good Rollins is, or you can say how good a Ric Flair is making guys look good, that green of a guy on that big of a stage, it'll be disaster for him. So
Joe,
it has to be Cody.
Joe, I had an AEW figure signed this past weekend, and it was Britt Baker's figure. Do you know what inscription I had her write on there?
No, you didn't tell me. I didn't when I see
the face of AEW.
Oh, she is. I agree with you.
100%. She is. She is.
So, honestly, I think it's Britt.
I just wish they had more women wrestlers that could back her up, because that's the only thing that AEW. There's a lot of things that we could say they're not doing right. And of course, the same thing with WWE, and it's always been the women's division. AEW's got some really good women talent if they could figure out how to start pushing this talent.
Yeah.
And I think their women's division could be way better, because Anna Jay came out and said, oh, I want a women's tag team titles. How can you have a women's tag team titles when you don't have enough women, or in a sense, to do it? You're just going to fall into an NXT women's tag team titles, or you're going to fall into the WWE women's tag team titles. And those titles
You know
or nonchalant.
who else is very underrated and doesn't get any credit whatsoever, and you very
Yeah.
rarely hear her name is Chris Statlander.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If
I
you
think
don't-
they're going to do something big with her down the road. I think she's got that slow build, and I'm hoping that's the case because
if
she's
you don't think Chris Statlander is awesome, then I'm not sure that you should be watching professional wrestling. I think you should probably go watch like golf or something.
Ooh.
So, I saw this a little while ago, and as I'm reading it, I was like, I was trying to figure out. I knew when Seth Rollins had gotten hurt originally, it was in that match against Kane, I do believe, when he tore his
he did the
ACL.
power bomb off the top turnbuckle.
Yeah.
Yep.
That, but the mystery opponent that we're all saying is Cody Rhodes. This person came out and said, I took your championship before, so this time I'm gonna take your dream spot at WrestleMania. And I'm like, but Cody never took his championship, so that's where I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're investing too much into what happens with Seth, which I like Seth, but I think we're investing too much with what happens with him, and we're damn sure investing too much in Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, somebody else said it could be Shane McMahon too, because he's in town that weekend. But
and the sad part is, Kevin Owens is incredible, and Kevin Owens is involved in a skit or a talk show type environment with Austin. I mean, and I know they keep saying I'm training for a match or whatever, but Kevin Owens should be competing for a belt at WrestleMania.
Yes.
And not
he should be
involved in
absolutely.
anything else. And I love Austin just as much as the next guy, but have Austin come out there, drink some beers, kick somebody in the gut, stun 3 or 4, 5, 10 people. I don't care. He'd go in the audience and stun half of them. It don't matter to me.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, get him on there and get him off there and get to the people that need the push. There's not a lot of WrestleMania moments. There's so many guys that were tremendous superstars, tremendous athletes, and their WrestleMania moments were few and far between. Look at Jerry the King Lawler. Huge star before he came to WWE. WWF, becomes a commentator out of necessity, becomes a commentator because they needed somebody to commentate that night because they didn't have anybody to work with Vince. And the guy ends up, basically spending the rest of his career behind a desk. The guy was incredible. He's still incredible, awesome person. And he had one WrestleMania match at WrestleMania 27. I mean, you talk about talent today that needs those WrestleMania spots. And you got Austin going to come out there and drink some beer and yell at KO. And supposedly that's going to close night one.
No.
I think
Yeah,
that is.
that's the big
No.
talk. They're going with either Ronda or
That's
Charlotte
a terrible
or
booking
the
decision.
KO show.
I'm not gonna lie, I think it's brilliant. I really do. And here's the reason why it's brilliant. You can agree with me or not. Number one, this is Austin's home. You gotta think. Austin is in his home place. So half the people that are there to see Austin. People are wanting to see him. And so if you bring him out in the main event, people are gonna leave happy because they're completely there to see him. And that's what they want. So to me, I think it's brilliant because of the area you are. If it was somewhere else, I would say no. But because of where it is, absolutely. I completely agree with making Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin as the main event. I really do.
Let me tell you, Stone Cold Steve Austin is a Rolling Stone. Wherever he lays his hat is his home, and it ain't got nothing to do with Texas. It's just poor booking. That's what it is. They should have him opening up WrestleMania. He should be the host of WrestleMania. He should interfere in 3 or 4 or 5 different things going on in WrestleMania, and that's how you get the crowd popping with WrestleMania. Putting him on in the last second. What are they going to do? Are they going to have a little fisticuff brawl match where, and then does it hurt KO to lose? Does it not hurt KO to lose? Does it hurt if Austin loses? I mean, neither one of them have anything to gain. KO stuns Austin, and everybody goes, "Oh, geez, that's crap." Austin stuns KO, and they're like, "Hey, but who cares?" And
Austin's not getting stunned.
that just pushes KO further down the line, when you need to build up more talent. So
I agree, and I think if you want to push an Austin and KO match, Austin, if he's getting in ring shape, WrestleMania is a good start for it. I don't put it on as the main event. The main event match on night one, I would have said would have been Edge versus AJ, but now that's back on night 2 again, supposedly. So you got to go with Ronda and Charlotte to main event it, because now you want to also tell everybody, hey, we're going to go to 2 nights of WrestleMania, which is what their plan is. So now you want everybody to go to buy tickets for next year to California, and then have the possibility of something like that main event again, meaning like the KO show or something like that. I think here you put them halfway through the card when people are starting to wind down and get tired. Got that big pop, get everybody excited for that second half of the show. Those guys do a little fisticuffs, whatever they're going to do, and then you set them up for a match down the road. Maybe at SummerSlam, because you got to sell out. Well, actually, they got 2 stadiums. They got Allegiant for their Money in the Bank, and then they got Nissan Stadium for SummerSlam. Now you got 2 more stadiums that you got to try to sell out, and you can't even sell out AT&T Stadium.
So let me ask you guys all this really important WrestleMania week question. This is a really important question, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Who was the best performer of all time singing America the Beautiful at WrestleMania?
Oh.
Aretha Franklin. That's the first one that jumps out. That's the first one that jumped out at me.
Ace?
That's a good question.
I do gotta say though, I liked. Was it last year, or the year before, that they did snippets of everybody that sang it?
Yeah,
That was pretty cool.
Aretha Franklin was good though. I really like hers, but
Gladys Knight, I thought was
tough.
good.
Huh?
Gladys Knight, I thought was good, and I hate to say it though, but I thought Nicole. I can't even pronounce her last name. The Pussycat Doll girl. I thought she did really good too. But Gladys Knight, I thought was really good.
So
I mean,
all you guys forgot about Little Richard at WrestleMania 10.
No, I know about Little Richard, but
that was WrestleMania 10's on in the background. That's how I came up with that.
But the 2 that are performing this year, I do know who they are. So,
in reality, I think greatest of all time. That it started as a joke, but all seriousness, greatest of all time, I think, was Lillian Garcia at WrestleMania 28. Honestly,
she does have a good voice.
She does.
I would check that out, man. And they timed it. I was literally there in the stadium, and they timed it. I mean, just spot on, perfect, with the jets flying over, and it was incredible. So.
Honestly, I think they should bring her back every year to do it. I mean, she does it so good.
I would challenge you guys. I'd challenge you guys if you go back and just watch, one part of that. There were some great matches on that card. Tremendous event. But I would challenge you guys to go back and watch her rendition of America the Beautiful. But again, that started out as a joke because Little Richard was on in the background. But
because I was at WrestleMania 24.
It turned into a good segment, honestly.
When John Legend did it, I was there for that one.
I think John Legend did a good job too.
Yeah.
So before we get to our predictions for a WrestleMania, when I saw this one thing on here, I really wanted to know what it was, because right now I'm completely drawing a blank. But it says the historical move of the week, the stump puller, and I saw you post a picture. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why is this not ringing a bell? I don't.
So we're on that segment now, so I can talk about that.
Well, we're gonna go back to predictions. I just wanted to jump to this because it's been bugging me. What?
I wanted to throw some different stuff in there besides just the historical moment of the week, and I wanted to throw in there the historical move of the week. Man, I tell you what, a move that could have done some top talent, some really good. Doink the Clown was a master at this move and did an incredible job. And I sent a couple pictures of it, but there's a lot of pictures out there of this move, and a lot of independent guys have used it too. And basically, you step over the guy's shoulders when he's down on his knees or his backside in front of you, and you put your legs, your thighs, around the back of his neck, and you reach down and pull up his leg. and pull it as hard as you can towards you. And I tell you what, man, when I was a kid, probably 9, 10, 11 years old, and we would wrestle, as kids, I would try to do the stump puller all the time. And I was a bigger kid, man. So I'd be getting on these little boys and just wrenching their leg up. And all of a sudden, man, they would scream and squeal and everything else. So, the stump puller, if you had somebody today, using a move like that, it is a historical move. It's something you don't see much anymore, but man, what an incredible move. I would challenge anybody and everybody that's listening, go back, do some research on the stump puller. Doink the Clown was definitely a master at it. There's a lot of other guys who are a master at it too.
Yeah, looking at it right now.
I'm telling you, that is a move, and there is not a lot of ways to get out of that thing either. So,
and if I'm not mistaken, that's when Matt Bourne was doing it, and then after they switched characters, nobody else did it.
Correct. Absolutely. Ray Apollo, I never saw do it. I never saw what was his name, Lombardi. I never saw him do it. So I would highly recommend checking out the stump puller. Hell of a move, really cool. Ace is frozen.
Yeah, it looks like Ace is frozen. So
Ace is so excited over the stump puller, man. He is just frozen.
He's looking up Goldberg videos.
I'm back. Yeah.
Did you see Ace's face when it froze? He had the biggest smile on his face, like the stump puller. He's like, "Wow, the stump puller, guys!"
Right, the stump puller. But since you're talking about one of those great moves for the stump puller, I'll tell you one of the weirdest moves that I've seen, but the person's name is not coming to me on this, but it was when he used his crotch.
And there goes Ace.
Yeah, I know who he's talking about.
I heard Ace say crotch, and then he disappeared.
He's talking about oh God, I think he's indie wrestler. I think he wrestled Impact a little bit. He grabs the crotch and he kind of twists them, and
that's Joey Ryan.
Joey Ryan, yes, I'm pretty sure that's who he's talking about because I see those.
That
videos
was
all the time.
Famous penis move where he would have, and then he would make them on there, and he would like hulk up a little bit, and they would like, that was crazy.
It made no sense. I mean.
So Ace just messaged me and said, "I'm having technical issues." We noticed.
Yeah.
We got excited about the stump puller, and then he went to crotch, and now he's done for the night.
Facebook heard that and said, "Get this guy out of here! Stump puller and crotch. Who knows what this guy's talking about?"
Yeah, exactly. So,
he's going to get a fine next week.
Yeah. So let's before we get to WrestleMania predictions, let's just talk quick about the slap her around the world. I want to throw this out there. Was it real or fake? Well,
you know what, man? I think it was real, but I think it was meant to be a I don't want to hurt you, but I want to embarrass you moment. If he wanted to hurt him, he'd have punched him in the face. He didn't want to hurt him. He wanted to embarrass him, like, hey, man, shut your mouth.
He needs to learn how to throw a better slap, I think.
Correct, absolutely. But I don't think it was staged. I don't think it was fake, any of that stuff. I do think that he's got a lot going on. He's got some mental things going on. He needs some help. I think that's a humongous cry for help. Now, what my opinion and everybody else's opinion is going to be different. But do I think he was wrong for what he did? No. I don't think he was wrong. I think as a man, sometimes you get challenged. But I do think that he probably went overboard because the comment wasn't really directed in a negative light towards her. And there has been so much horrible stuff said about her in the media and social media and everything else. I mean, she's a known adulterer. And this guy's gone through some terrible stuff with this woman. And it seems like she's extremely toxic and got some bad things going on amongst herself. And, should he have laughed? No. I understand why he did what he did. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know, man. If he wanted to hurt him, he'd have punched him.
Oh, you could have hurt him, yeah.
He'd have punched him out. And
Joe, what do you...
Chris Rock no sold that like nobody else, man. He was like, wow, Will Smith just slapped shit out of me, you know, and just kept right on going, you know, with no issue because, you know, I mean, he just stood there. So major props to Chris Rock on that. I have always been, as far back as I can remember being a kid, a Will Smith fan. I was always a Chris Rock fan. I think Chris Rock kind of faded off the face of the earth for like 10 years there and then kind of popped back up, you know, and is doing some things now. And the guy's a great guy. And Will Smith is just, you know, top tier superstar actor, you know, and he's in some of the greatest movies of all time with the Bad Boys series. But the guy's obviously got some stuff going on. And, you know, it's just a shame, man. You know, honestly, it's a shame. The guy needs some help. And he's obviously overwhelmed, and you know he's got every resource in the world to help him. And unfortunately, and I'll say this, and again, this won't be popular, but unfortunately, I see him going down a similar road as a Robin Williams. Unfortunately, and I hope he gets the help he needs very, very quickly before he gets to anywhere near that.
All right.
So. Just really quick, so just really quick, I wanted to back up and mention what I was going to say before my computer booted me off. I guess it didn't like what I was going to say. But, I was going to say the weirdest finishing move, and I can't remember the guy's name, but
Joey Ryan?
When he used his crotch as a finishing move, you know, where the guys would like grab his crotch, and he's like, it was definitely one of the weirdest finishing moves that I've seen in professional wrestling.
We figured that's where you're heading to. So
we didn't know where you were going because we were talking about stump puller, and then
you went to crotch, and then they said, "No, we're not talking about that." So
no. So I was just curious because I was like, that one to me was just weird. But I heard you talking about the Chris Rock and Will Smith slap, and to me personally, I was like 50-50 on whether I truly believed if it was real or not. But then one of the individuals, one of my buddies that I was talking to, he explained why he said to him it was real. And number one, when you look at it, you know, Will Smith and Chris Rock are kind of both up here. So they don't really need that publicity, especially negative. So he was talking about how he's like, this is why he felt it was real because Will Smith is getting a lot of heat from it, like a ton of heat, to where people are saying, you know, he kind of handled it the wrong way or whatever. And you know what? Maybe he did. You know, maybe he handled it the wrong way. Maybe it could have been handled better. But I'm going to go on a limb and say, it was real and it wasn't scripted. I don't know.
I think, I mean, for me, I think it all goes back to Jade. You know, everybody's laughing about it. She got mad. Will looked over at her. He's like, I mean, he was in a lose-lose situation because if he didn't do nothing, they would have called him a punk. And, you know, so he went up there and protect his wife. I mean, I think it was a joke that I think Jade didn't take well, and Will went up there and took care of business. And, you know, for a kid that grew up in West Philadelphia, he needs to learn how to throw a slap because that just all looked like, you know, like he didn't want to do it, but he had to do it. And
now he's got to go live with his auntie and uncle in Bel Air.
Yeah, and Will, you know, like Will said, you know, Chris Rock sold that like, oh shit. So
Shardole, I want to answer your question really quick here. Isaiah does not run this network, so Isaiah has no say on whether who joins this network or not. So So anyway, I think he was gonna Big B. You were gonna ask Joe what he thought of this.
Yeah, Joe, what did you think of it? And then we get back on track.
We're off track?
Yeah, we're off track. I've seen the unedited version. They showed it on the Australian TV. And he's like, keep my wife's name out of your mouth. I mean, it was pretty intense there. I seen on the news tonight, Fox 13 News, and they're talking about this whole situation. And Chris Rock's ticket sales have just skyrocketed.
I
over
bet.
this incident. I mean, his tickets are selling at high pace right now for his comedy shows, and they went up in value. So Chris Rock's coming out like a bandit right now. He got slapped on national television, didn't sell it, and now he's going to make a whole lot of money off of it. So, and then Jim Carrey was on Entertainment Tonight or something like that. And I was skimming through that, and he's like, if that was me, I would have sued him the next day for $200 million. And he said there's no reason why another person should put their hands on somebody else like that on national television or anything like that. I don't know, man. I barely watched the Oscars, honestly. I've seen a lot of movies out there. Like, yeah, exactly. A lot of people are like, if I didn't know about that slap, I wouldn't even know the Oscars were on. So
I was in the middle of a live sale. I had no idea.
yeah, I didn't either until afterwards, and then I started seeing all the videos, and then you could see Jada's face when he made the G.I. Jane 2 comment. I thought it was funny. I don't know. I thought it was funny in a way because it's like, hey, I want to see her in the movie. And Will was laughing hysterically about it.
Exactly.
And you see Jade just do the eye roll, and it's like, holy shit, game on. Because at first I thought she laughed about it too. So then when I replayed it, I seen her that eye roll, and you knew that was the kiss of death at that point. I think once they put it back on Chris Rock, she leaned over and said,
"Go get him,
man up." She runs that family, no doubt about it. What she says goes. And Will was in a no-win situation whatsoever. Unfortunately, he like Guy said, he could have went up there and been a man. And a lot of people are standing behind him, said, "Hey, I would have done the same thing." But
that's a shame, man. That's a shame when you have one spouse in a household.
I think he's in a toxic relationship, and he loves her unconditionally for everything that she's done, and probably will. And let's call it a spade here. Will's probably not been innocent either, over the years, and he's probably not been a nice guy either, but his stuff's kind of under the table, so to speak, and hers is out there in public about everything that she's done. She's even admitted to a lot of stuff, and that guy has stuck with her through everything. I mean, he has built a massive house to where all of his family lives there on the property, so they don't have to leave and go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
You're a stronger man than me.
Yeah.
Right,
No
so, Shardul, tonight is not an open invite for anybody to join the show, but because tonight's a wrestling show. But if you want to guest appear, we all have to talk about it, and then we will get back to you and let you know at some point. But anyways, so now that we're at the point, we talked about the stump puller, and we talked about Chris Rock and Will Smith. Now we can actually jump over to our WrestleMania prediction.
Don't say that C word, you'll get kicked off again.
Right? Don't say it. Don't say it. Yep. Definitely don't say it. So we'll go ahead and get into our WrestleMania predictions. Joe, if you want to go ahead and kick us off, if you want to go match by match, fine, or if you only want to mention certain matches, that's fine too. Whatever you want to do.
No, that's fine. Go ahead and mention off the matches.
All right. All right, so let me go ahead just really quick here. I will go ahead and
you got it pulled up? I got it pulled up.
All right, hold on 1 second though. All right, so let me pull these up really quick here. Okay, so I've got the WrestleMania match card. So let's go ahead and start out with you have the Raw Women's Championship, Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. Where are you going with this one?
Bianca. She has to at this point.
Okay.
And after that hair cutting match, hopefully they turn it into a hair versus hair match and make it even more interesting of a storyline. But Bianca takes it. Yeah. She has to. I think there's no other choice.
All right. The Miz and actually, let's just go over to Will for this match. You taking Becky Lynch or Bianca Belair?
Becky,
really? You're going with Becky?
They can always drop it to Bianca at a different event, but I don't see Bianca winning the title 2 years in a row at a WrestleMania. I don't think they have her built up that strong. I think it's definitely going to be Becky. Now, whether it'll be clean or not, I don't think it'll be clean, but I think you can see Becky drop it at some point to her later on, but I think Becky walks out of WrestleMania champion.
I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of a shocker. I was expecting you to actually say Bianca Belair because I think that's where a lot of people are going with it. All right,
I don't
Big
see it.
B, huh?
I don't see it. I don't see that
All right.
happening.
All right, you taking Becky or Bianca?
I'm going. I'll go Belair, unless they change it to a hair versus hair match, and then I think it'll be Becky. But right now, as it stands, I'll go Belair.
Okay. All right, so the next one we'll go to is a match that was just made made official yesterday on Raw, which I kind of mentioned it on Between the Ropes that I thought it was going to happen, and it did end up happening. You have Omos versus Bobby Lashley. A lot of people are kind of going back and forth, being like, if Omos got the victory, they could kind of build him up as like the next monster in WWE, the next big guy. But then you could also make Lashley the winner and show that he can kind of beat any big guy out there. So I guess it can kind of go either direction. So Joe, which one you taking? You taking Omos? You taking Bobby Lashley?
I'm taking Lashley. He's come off of a Royal Rumble championship win. Unfortunately, had to drop the title in a not unceremonious way at Elimination Chamber. He needs this victory. There's plenty of time to continue building Omos up. And I think that Lashley wins it, and possibly Omos destroys Lashley at the end of it, because there's a rumor that Lashley needs to have shoulder surgery. And this is a perfect way to build him up as a monster, is in the sense of, okay, he lost the match, but in the actuality, he won because he took out Lashley, and Lashley is gone for quite some time.
I thought he left to have the surgery already.
He didn't have the surgery. That's why he's able to come back. He's just kind of been rehabbing it. They've been up in the air about it. Bobby has about doing the surgery or not. So, no, he never did get the surgery done yet.
All right. Will, are you taking Omos or Lashley?
Omos.
Damn, 2 in a row. Spoiler. Wow.
2 in a row. Are you kind of agreeing?
It doesn't do anything for Lashley to win. He's going to go out. He's going to have surgery. He's going to be gone for a little while. It doesn't do anything for his character, his career to win. It's a major, humongous boost for Omos. That's why I see it being Omos.
All right. Big B, Omos or Lashley?
I like what Joe said, but I think I'm not going to say Joe's wrong, but I think it's going to be Omos winning.
Yeah, I think I have to go with Omos also. I think when Omos loses, I think it's going to be against somebody like McIntyre, Roman Reigns, or somebody like that who's going to end up giving him his first loss. All right. Let's go to the next one, which is The Miz and Logan Paul versus the Mysterios. Joe, which one you taking?
I'd love to see The Miz win it because I think he's a great character. But this is just a throwaway match. I think Logan's going to show us up a little bit. That he's going to do pretty decent in there. But I say the Mysterios win.
Could he turn on The Miz? Could Logan Paul turn on The Miz?
Oh, that would be. He did it last year against Sammy. I mean, it's a possibility, absolutely.
All right.
And then
Will.
they could set themselves up for something at SummerSlam.
Miz and Logan, if for no other reason but the publicity, I think Miz and Logan go over. It won't be clean, obviously, but they'll put the Mysterios down. And I think ultimately that'll help you start the Dominic Ray feud.
Yeah, which I was going to say, it could go that route, too, to where you could get the feud going there. All right. Big B.
God, Will. God, I was just going to say the exact same thing.
Then you're right.
Yeah, I exactly. I think we start seeing a glimpse. If not, Dom turns on Ray at WrestleMania, and then possibly coming out and say, "Yeah, you're not my father, and he's really my father." So I'm with Will on that one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with The Miz and Logan Paul also. And this is where I had the turn coming on one of the Mysterios.
Yep.
All right. The next one we have is Seth Rollins versus Vacant, which, we're all thinking it's going to be Cody Rhodes.
Hornswoggle.
So let's say it's Cody Rhodes. I don't think that they would bring him back and have him lose this match, to be perfectly honest. I don't think they would have him lose his first match. So I'm gonna go with vacant in this match. So Joe,
Man, everyone I go with, you guys go against. So I'm tired of playing this game. All right. Freaking George tonight, man. This is horrible. Yeah, dude, it's gonna be Cody. Okay, let's say it's vacant. If it's not Cody, then I could say Seth because there's nobody else that could do that role better, in the sense. But I think we all can almost put our paychecks on it and say it's going to be Cody in that match. So I'll go with Cody.
yeah, this is how I potentially said it could happen for everybody who's saying like Shane McMahon or whatever. I'm saying Vince could come out and be like, okay, Shane McMahon, then Shane comes out and Seth beats Shane like quick, and then Vince goes, well, actually, your real opponent is, and then Cody Rhodes happens to come out because it would be like a disappointing part for the fans at first, and then Cody Rhodes comes out next. He's like, this is your real opponent.
I think that if it's anybody else but Cody, it's going to be like when everybody wanted Daniel Bryan to come out at number 30 in the Royal Rumble years ago and win it, and Rey Mysterio came out number 30 and they booed him out of the friggin' building because they didn't get what they wanted.
Right?
If you get anybody else other than who they're predicting, that poor soul, man, is going to get booed,
Right.
booed, and get horrible, and he's going to become a meme on Facebook, and oh my gosh, it's just going to be bad. But then you know what? We're all going to tune in on Monday night anyways to see what happens. So Vince doesn't care.
Well, yeah, because they did say that if Cody didn't debut on WrestleMania, it'd be the next night on Raw anyway. So, Will?
Well, now that's on night one, isn't it? Now that
Yeah.
match is it night
Yeah.
one?
All right.
They keep they keep flip flopping them so much I can't tell anymore.
So who are you taking in this match?
I think the WrestleMania surprise is Cody doesn't even bother to show up and, kind of blows the minds of everybody. And whoever Seth faces, Seth has a tremendous win-loss record at WrestleMania. So if it's anybody other than Cody, Seth wins it. If somehow Cody does come out, then obviously Cody has to go over. But, that's just the reality of it. I don't see there being a big blown out match between the two guys. There's no build up, and that's the sad part. It's once again, you want to have that big blown up match with those two guys, and there's no build up. So I don't know, man. I don't see it. I know he signed with WWE, and that's the rumor, but I just don't see it. I don't see him coming out, but maybe could be. And also, too, I'd like to point out that Joe has referred to memes as memes twice tonight. And I don't know why he keeps doing that. It obviously is on purpose. But the correct term is meme, not mimi. So
Mimi.
Because Isaiah's running the show.
All right. Big B, who you taking?
Ace, after you said that statement that somebody posted that, with Rollins, I took your title. I kind of looked back to see who took his titles. The Fiend. I don't think it's the Fiend, but if it's not Cody, then I can see them bringing the Fiend in and possibly doing something. But I'm with Will. I don't think they're going to have a big blown out match unless it is Cody. So I'll go vacant Cody, but we'll see.
I thought you said Mimi at first.
Mimi.
Yeah, Mimi. All right, so let's go ahead and go to Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. Joe?
This is one of my least favorite matches I'm looking forward to, honestly. I think this could be a main event for Raw or SmackDown or a lesser name pay-per-view. Nothing against those two guys at all. I think they got pretty good work rates. I mean, obviously, we know what Drew can do. And I think Corbin can too as well. But it's not a match that I'm looking forward to, but I think Drew takes it. There's no other.
All right, Will?
Unless they want to set it up longer, and then it goes to Corbin. But I think this feud needs to end. And if they're going to build Drew up to be Roman's next opponent, he's got to get over with the victory.
Absolutely, 100%. It's got to be Drew. No other way about it.
And Big B?
Yeah, I mean, like Joe said, if they're going to build it up longer, then it's going to be Corbin. But I think it's going to be Corbin. I think I think Drew's going to still get a title push, but maybe I said Corbin on between the ropes. So I'll stick with Corbin.
Yep, I'm taking Happy Corbin. All right, so let's go to the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I know we're getting there on time, but we're gonna roll through these matches here. So the SmackDown Tag Team Champions,
Overtime.
the Usos versus Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura. All right, Joe.
Bloodline.
All right, Will.
Usos.
Big B.
I'm going with the underdogs. I'll go Booze and Nakamura.
Ooh, boy.
I'm going to go with the Usos. I'm taking them too. All right, SmackDown Women's Championship. I'll say it now. Ronda's going to beat Charlotte. All right, Joe.
Agreed.
Will.
Charlotte Flair.
Oh, wow.
Jeez, he's throwing some like crazy things
Well, I
out
don't
there.
think it's crazy. I can see it happening, but
You need Ronda to sell WrestleMania tickets. You don't need Ronda the Monday after.
If he sweeps this whole entire thing, I'm going to ask him for what lottery numbers are.
Right?
no
Right.
kidding.
I've been wrong before, but
I hope somebody's writing it down. So
I get it because, I mean, Charlotte did come out and say this past week that she says after WrestleMania, what her previous championship runs she has had won't mean a thing. So
Right.
that could mean a lot of different things, but you could be right because people are like, oh, her championship runs are like given to her. Ain't nothing given to you, man. You earn everything.
But are you gonna have Ronda lose twice at WrestleMania on the main event? I don't know. I'm going.
Well, I
Ronda.
don't know because then they're supposedly want Becky and Ronda for next year. So
Yeah.
But last year,
I can't see Ronda losing two times in a row in WrestleMania.
No.
but last year she didn't actually lose. It wasn't her that
No,
got
the-
pinned or
The
anything.
triple
So
threat, yeah.
Well,
It was
yeah,
a
but she
triple
was the
threat.
one that took the pinfall and lost.
Yeah,
I'm
Becky,
going-
Becky rolled her up and pinned her.
Yeah.
I didn't
Because-
think that she took that loss. I thought it
No,
was.
she took the loss because there was like some kind of controversy. They were trying to say because she got her shoulder up at the end a little
Yeah.
bit there,
Oh,
and so
I'm
that
gonna
could come
go
back
Becky.
and play into
All right,
factor for next year's WrestleMania. Where
How you
Ronda
gonna go
can say,
Becky?
I can
Becky
beat-
ain't even in the match.
Or Ronda, you're right. we start talking Becky. Ronda.
Yeah, okay. All right,
Hey.
Ronda. Okay. So Edge versus AJ Styles. I'm gonna go with Edge. It's tough, but I'm going with Edge. All right, Joe.
I love both of these guys, I really do. But I think pound for pound, the best wrestler in wrestling right now is AJ Styles, and that's a tough one because I think Bryan Danielson is right up there with him. Take nothing away from it, and
So you're taking
I'm
AJ.
taking phenomenal one, man. He needs it. Edge doesn't. AJ does, sets him up for another title run down the road.
All right, Will.
AJ.
All right, Big B.
Match of the night. Match of the weekend. I'll go.
I was going to say the
go
same
Edge.
thing, Big B. This is going to be the match of the weekend.
Yeah, I'm going Edge.
You're going Edge. Okay. Women's Tag Team Championships. Queen Zelina Carmella versus Naomi and Sasha Banks versus Rhea and Liv and versus Natalia and Shayna. I'm going to say Naomi and Sasha because so far Sasha's 0-6 at WrestleManias. She's never won at WrestleMania. All right, Joe.
No, this is Liv's moment. It's got to happen. This is the time is now. We've said it about her being a women's champion. Obviously, they're not going to go in that direction. She needs this. She's earned it.
All right. Will.
No doubt at all. Rhea and Liv, no doubt. And I hope to God Rhea wins because I've got several autographs of Rhea, and for some reason nobody's buying Rhea autographs, and she's a top WWE superstar. So I'm hoping she wins so I can sell some of that stuff.
All right, Big B.
Yeah, I'm going Rhea Liz.
Liz.
Lives. Whatever.
All right.
Rhea, Liz, Mimi.
Mimi's.
All right. Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. A lot of people are saying
cares?
Austin Theory, but I'm going to go ahead and take Pat McAfee. So, Joe.
I'm going Theory.
Me too. Theory.
Big B.
I don't know how you can't go against Theory, but I mean, why would McAfee take the loss and be on TV still? So I'm gonna go with
Because Vince
Pat.
interferes in it.
Ooh, there you go. I'll go Pat. I said Pat already. I'll go Pat.
All right. Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville. This one's tough, but somehow I think Sammy's gonna end up coming out on top. I don't know why, but I just think he is. All right, Joe.
I think Sammy at this point, because what do you have to gain for Johnny winning? I mean, I seen that movie on Paramount Plus, and it's not all that great. So the whole build to the Jackass movie was not good at all. So I think Sammy needs it after all the crap they keep putting him through.
All right, Will.
Knoxville. Publicity wise, you go with Knoxville. It pops up on ESPN. It pops up on different Entertainment Tonight and stuff like that. Gets WWE more recognition. I definitely see him pulling that one out. Sammy, man, they have just rode that dude straight into the ground. It's a shame. It's a shame. But that dude, I mean, he's going to have a hell of a time ever being a believable character again, you know.
But he's getting paid. That's all he keeps saying. Are you
All right,
getting
Big
paid?
B.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Knoxville with Wee Man helping him out.
Oh,
All right.
God.
All right, so we will go. We only have a few left here. So the next one, RK Bro versus Street Profits versus Alpha Academy. I don't know. I was going back and forth between RK Bro or Street Profits. I think I'm gonna go with the Street Profits. I think that they're gonna win the gold. Joe.
This is a historical moment for Randy Orton, because he is the only man in the WWE that's walking in as holding every championship, which is a marvelous feat. But I think Street Profits take it, and Randy finally turns on Riddle and hopefully just punts him square in the head.
Okay,
Well, I mean, it's hard to get a better answer than what Joe just said. I mean, the only other thing that'd be better than that is if RKO just gets a chair and beats the hell out of them, you know. But honestly, I mean, I think it's a street time. Those guys were awesome. Randy Orton is the only active competitor that can still get up there to that 15, 16 title mark. And I think there's still that in the idea of his career is to get him up there with Flair and Cena. So you got to get him back to being singles. RK Bro is hot. There's a lot of money there. But booking makes no sense in WWE anyway. So I say Street Profits win. And you may see a turn in RK Bro, or you may not see a turn until SummerSlam time.
Yeah, and Orton is the last remaining active wrestler of Evolution.
Yep.
Evolution is a mystery. All right. All right. Big B.
I'm going to go Alpha Academy, and I think this is where we see Gabe Stevenson come in and play a factor.
Okay.
You know, I like Otis. I really like Otis. I think he's a pretty good superstar. I think he needs to try to use the bonsai drop a little more efficiently, but I like the guy.
I like Otis too.
Joe is so violent. This is where RK Bro loses, and then he goes up and punts him in the head.
I hope he gives him an RKO,
Dragon,
and then
Dragon Viper
plays
like
it off
that.
a little bit, and then Orton just punk kicks him straight in the freaking field goal out there. I mean, just
all right. So let's
nothing against Riddle. I think Riddle's a good guy. Just something about him. Just he's just got a punchable face. And I just want to just punt kick him straight to hell.
I hope Orton does it for Dragon Viper.
All right, so let's go ahead and go into that main event, the biggest WrestleMania match of all time, Roman Reigns versus the Beast, Brock Lesnar. Absolutely. I really hope it's Brock.
Oh,
I have a feeling it's going to be Roman, but I really hope it's Brock, because I think if anything, they're going to want to put Roman over in this match. But I'm not going to bet against Brock, because that's my boy. So I'm going with Brock Lesnar. All right, Joe.
Well, this could be debated all day long. The biggest WrestleMania match of all times. Get out of here with that crap. Unbelievable. But, hey, that's WWE, and that's what they do. They promote horse crap, just like Charlotte Flair's never tapped out a day in her life. Get over that. We can go back and see all that crap. It sucks because the rumor is that they're going to bring another championship into play for either Raw or SmackDown, depending on wherever this unified WWE Championship is what they're calling this thing.
Yeah.
So maybe, God, I want Brock to win, but it's hard because it's been like this is like their 6th or 7th time fighting now. I mean, isn't this
I'm
thing
going to
split
smash him.
Yeah, isn't this thing split like 3 apiece right now? I mean, Roman needs it because he's the face of the company, period. But I like to see Brock win it, especially if they're going to introduce a new championship. This way Brock can go off and ride in the sunset for a little bit. But
well, I know Roman wants to take some time off, so that's why I'm thinking that Brock might be the guy because
yeah,
Roman
that's
wants
where
to
I'm
take
going to
some
go
time
with it.
off.
I'm going to go. It's a toss up. It really is. But I'm going to go with Brock just because it's
You know
WWE.
why? Because he's the one in 21 and 1. All right, so
I like don't get me wrong. I love this Brock Lesnar character they got out now. It's nice seeing him a little bit of this new personality. Plus, we're gonna get a new action figure from it too, which I'll have to buy from Will when it comes out. So, Will makes money. I get an action figure out of it. Hey,
That's right.
all right, Will.
Was there any question with the figure popping up and down?
No, you're going with Roman Reigns.
No doubt whatsoever. Definitely. And although I hate the idea of them unifying belts, I think that's horrible.
especially if you're gonna bring another one in there, anyways. What's the point of unifying it?
Totally against it. 100% totally against unifying.
What are we gonna call this one? The Raw Universal, not undisputed.
I know.
Showdown, SmackDown.
Your company is too
24/7.
big for one champion. You need 2 champions.
Oh. And it's going to be the same belt design as we've seen. Come on, bring back the winged eagle belt, man.
And not only that, but I have all these belts that I own in glass cases, and I don't want to have to keep buying new belts.
All right.
That's true.
Big B.
I've been debating. Ace, we talked about it. I'm going to go with Brock, but I'm going to throw a side bet out there that it's going to end in a no contest. I don't think we're going to get a unification.
Okay. So,
unless somehow this match ends in some kind of way that neither man wins the dang thing, and we all go home pissed off.
That's what I'm saying. I think Brock's going to win, but I wouldn't put it past him to do a no contest and we don't unify the belts.
Or Brock wins by disqualification, or Roman wins by disqualification, and we don't get the unification because WWE likes to write crappy storylines half the time and piss their fan base off, and we all tune in on Monday Night Raw anyways to see why they did what they did.
All right, so with that though, that brings us to the end of the show. So we'll give our final thoughts. So Big B, I'll go ahead and start with you. Your final thoughts.
It's always great to talk wrestling, any sport really, but WrestleMania weekend, like I said before, I'm watching it because I've watched every other one, but I just don't think it's been promoted like it has. It's not many matches excite me, but I'll be sitting there at work watching, and Sunday I'll be on with Ace and the crew and watching night 2 with my son. So, everybody have a good week.
All right, Joe, this time you get to go before Will, so there you go.
Well, I agree with Big B. I'll watch WrestleMania because I watched every one of them. It's the pageantry of it. I enjoy that part of it. But I tell you what, they say they have 102,000 fans in there each night. We know wrestling's rigged at this point, and WWE's just boosting up numbers. I'm looking forward to the Hall of Fame. Undertaker's speech, I think, is going to be really cool because we don't get to see that a whole lot. Steiner Brothers' speech. I hate to say that, though, about this one, but with Nikki Bella saying that she wants to see Vader's speech this weekend, I tell you what, if we get a Vader speech this weekend, I might just have to crap myself because where that would come from is going to be crazy if that would happen. So hopefully Nikki figures out that Vader isn't around anymore. But
all right,
it's a great week. I love it.
And Will?
I think that was taken out of context with Nikki. I don't think that's what she meant. I think she was looking forward to his induction and all that. As am I. I think that's a great part of the Hall of Fame. Vader's well-deserved. I don't think they should be inducting people after they passed away. They need to get them in there before they pass away. Another point I want to make is in the background, I'm watching WrestleMania 10, and right as somebody said something, Bam Bam Bigelow was smearing Dink's face into the mat and pulling his hair, and it was so funny. It was so hard not to laugh at that. But thank you guys. Really appreciate everything. I absolutely enjoy being on here as much as we possibly can. A couple weeks ago, we had that Razor Ramon Scott Hall tribute show. Probably one of the best shows I've ever been a part of. And I'm a guy that runs live once or twice a week. Joe just disappeared. I really, truly appreciate everybody. Thanks to TRC, all the folks that support me over there. Thanks to Coast to Coast Entertainment Network, Thoughts Count Anywhere, all these guys. Just really, really enjoy it. Ace, Big B, Crispy Bacon, Dragon Viper, miss that dude. Mess Around just commented that he just woke up. I mean, what kind of garbage is that, man? Get on the show. Don't be talking about waking up, man.
I know he's on here. I just seen that. Shout out to Mess Around.
He's a napping champion.
And I want to give another shout out to the Red Tape Files yesterday. Great stuff. I think there's great stuff coming from that in the future. I enjoyed the hell out of that, watching that for a few minutes. I actually had some downtime. There was nothing going on. Wasn't watching anything, and that thing popped on. And I enjoyed watching it. So a lot of great stuff going on over here. You guys have got to check out all the other stuff they got going on at Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. And that's all I got.
All right, and let's not forget, Saturday and Sunday is going to be the biggest Coast to Coast shows of all time. And you know why? Of all time. And I mean of all time. Okay, so because with that, you can join us Saturday for an actual, technically like a watch party breakdown of WrestleMania as we're going on. People be in and out. It's going to be a long show. We're doing that Saturday. We're doing it Sunday from the start of WrestleMania until the finish. You can see it on both nights. So anybody who wants to hop in, see what's going on, listen to the breakdown, you'll catch it right here on the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. So we definitely want to thank everybody for watching, and we'll see you next Tuesday for another episode of Tuesday Night Mania. You guys have a fantastic night.